Yeah, that's
So,
right. One thing we would like to do before you get a chance to decide which breakout room you get to go to, if you have the latest version of Zoom, hopefully everybody does. It seems they send an update every week, which I always forget to do. But anyway, so you'll be able to move in and out of whichever breakout room you would like to join. If you need me to assign you to a breakout room, I'm glad to do that. But before we move into those rooms, we have a poll that we would like to launch just to gauge where each of you are in regards to providing in-person programs or virtual programs, or, you know, maybe you haven't decided yet, and that's okay. We just want to launch this poll and get some feedback. So if you'll bear with me, I will. Hopefully it's here. And here it is. So there are many choices, which you can pick one or all or none. So if none of them apply to you, then if you choose other, we would love to hear what your other ideas are in the chat box. So here it goes. Okay. I know we may have a couple of people from the same camp, so, which I realize that. Okay, so it looks like we have 43% are providing overnight residential camp for patients. 14% are providing overnight residential camp for siblings. 29% are providing modified or bubble overnight family camp weekends for patients, siblings, parents / guardians. 5% are providing day camps for patients and or siblings. 5% providing day camps for families, which include patients, siblings, or parents and guardians. And then 14% are providing one-day programs or activities for patients and siblings. And then 10% are providing one-day programs and activities for families, the entire family unit. And then 19% have other. So great, can't wait to see what other is. So we will end the poll. I think I will share these results real quick if you wanted to look again. So a lot seems to have changed since even a month ago, it appears. So with a lot of the camps. So, okay. All right. Are there, and so let's go to our chat real quick and let's see what our any other comments are. And if any of you would like to speak up and tell us about what you're doing so we don't all have to read it in the chat box, please do join in. Have a lot of virtual camps. Okay. All right. Any questions? Are our facilitators ready to go to the breakout rooms? Okay. All right. I am going to assign those now. Welcome back to the main room. I'm excited to hear about the discussion. I hope you had enough time. I'm sure we could keep talking all evening. So while everybody's returning, What I would like to do this last 15 minutes is to ask each of our facilitators if they would like to give like a brief overview or summary of what you guys talked about. Ryan, if you're ready, we will start with you.
Yes, so we covered a whole bunch in that 45 minutes. Testing was a big one and what everybody's doing for testing. Another one was cohorting. That seems to be the strategy that everybody's using for in-person camp, and it's a big bummer, but it's just something that we're going to have to deal with this year. Male staff, which is a normal year thing. We can never ever get male staff. And it's a little more difficult this year to get medical staff than it has been in the past because a lot of them had to take paid time off if they were in quarantine. So that's been more of an issue this year.
Great. What's the conversation around vaccination for staff, Ryan?
Good one. So that's a great question. That was a long topic in the beginning. Most camps are requiring it. And for their participants, most camps are strongly recommending, but aren't requiring it. And some states you can't even require it or ask. So shout out to Montana.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you. All right, Sally and Jamie, you guys want to talk about modified family camp?
Sure. Well, we had a good group and I think everybody was doing something. It sounds like the modified family camps are running about the same time frame, 3 days and 2 nights. And people are pretty much doing screening ahead of time, the same kind of screening to either if you're vaccinated, show proof of your vaccination or get tested prior. We had a lot of discussion about whether or not you mandate the vaccine for your staff. And, we had not everybody was doing the same thing for us, particularly because it was a small group. We were saying our volunteers needed to be vaccinated. And if you're not, then you could do the virtual camp, because we had choices. So, but other places had not quite got to the point of mandating that. Let's see, what else, Jamie?
We just talked about program stuff, like how we're trying to kind of the schedule, how we're having families sign up to go to different activities so they kind of have a slot and they can keep their distance and kind of maintain that throughout camp. We talked about, no one thing is a perfect solution, so we're layering option or different things that are going to keep everybody safe if they're following all of them instead of just one thing that's kind of the silver bullet. And then we talked about where everybody was saying that their programs are filling up real fast, which is really exciting and good. Yeah, good conversation.
Awesome. I guess let me go back and ask, does anybody have any questions for Ryan about overnight residential? Okay. All right. Any questions for Sally and Jamie about family camp?
Hi, this is Dina from Camp Tecumseh. I'm just curious how many families at a time you'll have on campgrounds.
So, I'm sorry, Jamie, popped in. The camp we use, Camp Twin Lakes, has 30 cabins. So we decided to do 15 families each session so that we had cleaning time in between. So in other words, we'll do 15 of the cabins the first part of the week and the other 15 cabins the other part of the week. So the cleaning staff don't have to go in there and rush. And that's working out well for us. So
everybody on the site or everybody on our group kind of had a different number based on kind of the size of their facility and how they felt safe kind of using their facility. So it really is facility dependent to make that work.
Thank you.
And in regards to programs and activities at your overnight camps and family camps, are you guys hosting most of your activities outside?
Almost all, yeah. I think there's like arts and crafts, which is going to be like inside and outside, but other than that, pretty much all.
We hope it doesn't rain like it does in the summer in the South.
Right.
Fingers crossed.
And what about your like your med shed or your health hut? Are you guys are y'all working with your medical team to try to do as much as possible outside, you know, medicines, distribution outside, or boo-boos, tending to boo-boos outside and stuff like that?
For us, yeah, so for our family model, we typically have all medication given by the family, unless it's like needs to be refrigerated or something like that. So majority of medication will be handled by the families, and then boo-boos and stuff, the nurses will definitely kind of figure out if they want to, the med facility is in a spot that they could do outside stuff if they needed to.
Okay.
Yeah, we
All
got
right.
a couple tents that we're gonna use, and we're gonna have them set up outside. So they're gonna have like the screenings, or at least the sides on them, so that way there's a little bit of privacy. But again, just as everyone else is trying to do, have as much outside, and we will have it right outside of our normal health hut area. So there's not going to be a huge difference. So if a camper does need to come inside, it's not like, oh my gosh, we're somewhere that's 40 yards away and we need to get them, you know, right now kind of thing. Like, they'll be able to get inside, but as much as we can, like essentially triage outside as much as possible, you know, not have anything inside. And what we are going to do for those times where we have like medication passes, we actually installed a little like shelf outside, like an ice cream stand. And so when the kids come by, we'll have our medical director inside with all their medications, and they'll just kind of come up and we'll be able to administer their medication through that. We'll be able to place the medication and like a cup for water on the little shelf. And so that way, I guess it's more like a pharmacy than an ice cream stand, but they'll be able to disperse everything from there. So again, it's not forcing kids to come inside, it's all outside, and we can have a little bit of better spacing.
This is Diane in Hawaii. We normally have the medical staff inside and they pass the meds through a window to the kids on the outside.
Okay, thanks, Diane. Anybody else want to share about medicine and health hut setup? Okay, all right. Michelle, tell us about day camps. What did y'all talk about?
Okay, so Michelle from Camp Sparkle and I had a little coffee clutch time because it was just the two of us, which was lovely. And we talked about developing policies. Michelle has gone, I mean, she could speak for herself, but you know, she's gone from one facility to 4 facilities and spread her camp over 4 places, community centers and 2 parks, and spread her camp over 4 individual weeks. So she has 4 locations, 4 weeks, 20 kids at a time in each of those locations. And that's the way she's, you know, we spoke about the fact that she's actually created a mobile camp, a camp on wheels, as it were, because she's taking her stuff from location to location. She's traveling from location to location just to make it possible for all the kids to be able to have camp. We spoke a little bit about donors because I think that, you know, I don't know what anybody else is doing for donors, the struggle between having donors come and visit and see camp in action versus not, right, Michelle? So
absolutely, absolutely. And masks too. We did talk about how our policies are that all children will be wearing masks, even though it's outside,
right.
And that I'm getting pushback from parents about that. But Camp Sparkle is a day camp. It's Monday through Friday, 12 to 4. So it's very different than overnight, but kind of how to communicate with parents, and that we are a vulnerable population and we need to protect everyone. So that was part of our conversation as well. And
yeah.
And what's everyone else doing with donors? I mean, is it a good time for donors to come view your camp to say, look what we can do during a pandemic? Was this an opportunity? I don't know.
This is Tim Perea from Periwinkle in Houston. I would think that we would want to minimize any extraneous outside people, and donors just need to understand this year they can't come.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've chosen to do is we have prioritized vaccinated donors to come in terms of coming on a tour. They need to stay totally separate from the kids. They are escorted by a camp staff member who is vaccinated, or escorted by one of our development staff team. And they don't intermix with the kids at all. They can watch camp from afar. They don't come indoors. If it happens to be a group that happens to be an activity indoors, they don't come indoors. They can only use the bathrooms, and they don't, usually these are the people who would serve ice cream or serve pizza or something to the kids as part of their visit, and they're not doing any of that. They're just coming on a tour, seeing that camp is fun, and then leaving, and it's going to be a brief visit. And we're keeping them as separate as we can. But we felt that financially it was something that we needed to address, and that's the way we've chosen to address it.
Oh, great. Thank you, guys. What else? We have a couple more minutes together, so open the floor for any discussion or questions.
How's everyone feeling about having in-person camp? We're super nervous about it, obviously, but I think we're far more excited than we are nervous. There's only so much you can plan before it's just time to do it eventually.
Well, we've all had to become COVID specialists and contact tracing specialists, and add that whole other layer to what we do. If we're going to have kids, there's a whole lot more that we need to know to be able to protect them and keep them safe, and at the same time have a great deal of fun. One of the things that we did is we're hiring an additional staff person called a health and safety coordinator or health and safety director. And rather than the camp director walking around saying, 3 feet apart, 6 feet apart, keep your whatever, this is the person that's going to maintain the protocols and just whisper in people's ears and have them maintain the guidelines, versus the camp director become the big bully and the no-sayer, and just to be able for the camp director to be able to still be that fun person and motivator in that more positive way.
Well, something that I think has been good for Camp Sparkle is I've done Camp Sparkle for over 10 years, and it's looked very different. And turning it into a mobile camp has allowed us to we're going to go to a park with a beautiful beach and the lake and with a lifeguard. And we probably would not have done that in the past. And this is a day camp. And it's allowed us to think of other ways to help our kids that has turned into kind of an opportunity. So there's been some good things about differences of camp this year.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions? I was just monitoring the chat. Is there anything else anybody would like to share or talk about?
No, but this was helpful though.
Good. I appreciate y'all taking the time this afternoon to be with us. And I tell you what, you guys have got a hard job ahead, but you can do it. If anybody can do it, it's all of you guys. Y'all are amazing. I wish y'all the best of luck with your in-person programs or virtual, whatever you're doing this year for your campers and their families. And last but not least, I just want to mention, these are the last 2 sessions that we're going to do. We're going to pause over the summer because we know you guys are going to be too busy to be on a Zoom call. But next week, we've got virtual back pocket games with Matt Hunsberger from Go Camp Pro. And then on Monday, June 7th at 8 o'clock Eastern, we are going to have Dr. Rafi back on to give us another COVID and vaccination update before we go into camp season. So you'll be getting information about that, of course, in your email. So
8 o'clock in the morning?
8 p.m. Eastern, say 8 a.m.
8 a.m. would be 2 a.m. here, so.
That'd be a long night. But yeah, so these last two are at 8 p.m. Eastern time, one on Wednesday, May 26th, and then Monday, June 7th. I hope you can join us, and thank you guys so much for your time today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you to our facilitators. Appreciate you guys doing
Thank you,
this.
everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.